We humans think constantly. And he acts. So what is the medium of that thought? Isn't it very curious? What do we humans think through? Think about it carefully. That is language. Before you learn to speak, you may be able to use pictures or feelings. We dream by images like a movie. It is in a very primitive state. However, when we are awake, when we have already learned and can use language, we almost always think in language. It may not be easy to understand. Think quietly before you go to sleep tonight. Are you really able to express your thoughts without language? Probably almost impossible. The reason we humans are greater than other animals is because we have this thing called language. It can also be said that the achievements of all civilizations were made possible through reason. It is language that makes logical thinking possible for humans. This is because thinking is impossible without language. All ideologies and ideas, such as capitalism and socialism, that have plunged this world into war are all languages. If there were no words or letters in this world, where could such ism or ideas be conveyed and asserted? It is impossible. Likewise, our minds are full of names, or languages, that express almost all objects and beings that exist in this world. Korean think in Korean, English-speaking countries think in English, and Chinese and Japanese think in Chinese and Japanese. So people in each country think and speak in different languages. Koreans say, "I am Korean." The Japanese say, "I am Japanese." Americans say, "I am American." It is thoughts that distinguish one from the other in this way. So they fight with each other. You are Japanese, I'm Korean, I'm American. In fact, if all of this world were united into one country, there would be no fights between countries. All appearances can be made similar through surgery. Then, there is no reason to fight. Let's take a closer example. Let's say there is a region called Jeollado and a region called Gyeongsangdo. These two regions are fiercely competitive in all aspects, not just athletics. But one day, the two regions got into a fight during a soccer game. There were about 100 casualties there. How can this phenomenon be explained? A truly incomprehensible situation has occurred. There is absolutely no reason to fight. They just say, "You are from Jeollado and I am from Gyeongsangdo." The fight broke out because of the experience of "we are from different regions." In fact, if people from two regions move away from each other, there will be no fighting. If those people all had amnesia at the moment of the fight, they would wonder, "Why are we gathered together like this?" Or if Gyeongsangdo and Jeollado are combined and renamed Reconciliation-do or Peace-do, will the conflict between the two regions continue? In the end, the cause of the fight was the experience of "I am from a certain region." It's just language. This experience is the past, a memory, a dead thing. This dead thing is ruining our current living lives. The collection of these experiences is ego. It is not love at all. Let's give another clear example of how much language bothers our lives. An American who has been living in Korea for 10 years took a city bus. But an incident occurred on the bus. A few Korean college students looked at the American and started saying things among themselves that were very embarrassing even for Koreans to hear. The American, who had been listening to their story for a while, suddenly changed his expression and came up to the students and said, "Do you guys want to die?" The college students thought the American did not know Korean and spoke carelessly to him. Here we can think about this. What would have happened to the American if he had no knowledge of Korean? He probably wasn't offended at all. If the American had cursed at the college students in African language, would they have been offended? he probably wouldn't have reacted at all. Language becomes an experience in our minds and forms ego. Language is something we learn as we grow up, and is not something we are born with. It is an illusion and not reality. This means that it is not our essence. When we hear insults from others, we interpret them as soon as we hear them. If it is a Korean word, it is a word we know, so we immediately interpret it, and our emotions come into play. As a result, they fight with each other and even kill people. What would happen if we didn't know Korean at that time? Nothing will happen. Try swearing at children who don't know how to speak. They won't react at all. Let's say there are 50 students here in the classroom, and one of them said, "Cheolsu, you punk." So who will be offended? Only the child named Cheolsu will feel bad. Then, if all 50 people had the name Cheolsu, everyone would feel bad. But the truth is, no one needs to feel bad. Why? This is because names are not our essence, but are temporarily attached for convenience. You can change the name. A name is not an unchanging entity. A name is a name, and I am who I am. A name is also an experience. I'm a nameless being if no one has made a name or called me. A name is just an experience. Why should the mirror be hurt by the shadow in it? Why should life, our essence, be hurt by ego? A collection of experiences. There is absolutely no need to do that. Our suffering arises from mistaking ego for our essence. In this way, language occupies a very large part of the elements that make up our minds. And we humans live with so much influence from this, so we can easily offend someone if we want to. All it takes is a swear word. If we do not know that our essence is life, love, and live, knowing that ego, a collection of experiences, is our essence, we cannot help but experience constant emotional pain from the world. Unless you leave the human world, you have no choice but to live as a mental wreck every day. In fact, when someone comes to his house, we recognize who he is, and if it is someone who does not need to open the door, he does not open it. Isn't it? However, we leave the door of our hearts wide open and allow anyone to enter, no matter who curses. This is truly incomprehensible. From now on, never accept any unwanted insults. Just like you don't open the door when someone you don't want comes to visit. In short, if you experience emotional pain due to language in a certain situation, immediately contemplate the pain in your own heart and recognize that the cause of the pain is your own illusion, a collection of experiences, that is, ego. Then you will soon be free from that pain. Your heart will hurt for a while. It is very painful to want to punch the other person with your fists, but to endure it and look at your own heart to relieve the pain. Just as the smell of peeling an onion is terrible, the process of peeling back the skin of ego must also go through the smell of pain. Yo, I'm so pissed. To endure that heart, it's really hard. However, through such pain and patience, ego slowly dies. Breaking free from the gravitation of ego requires a lot of effort. There is no fruit without sacrifice.